Welcome to the Managing IP Addresses training module. You can configure IP address settings for the ZTC Edge system to set or modify the IP addresses of the system and nodes, as well as values for applicable settings such as network mask, gateway address, and domain name system server. During the installation and post-installation of the ZTC Edge software, you configure 3 IP addresses, one of them for the system, and one for each of the 2 nodes. You can change the IP addresses and other IP settings after installation using the appropriate procedure described in this module. Please note that you must specify a static IPv4 address for the ZTC Edge system. Please be aware of the following warnings when changing IP addresses. Do not change the IP configuration settings, especially on systems with running VMs, without the advice and knowledge of your network administrator. Doing so could make the system and all of its VMs inaccessible. Because the ZTC Edge software generates MAC addresses for the VMs based on the system IP address, if you change the static system IP address, any MAC addresses automatically assigned to the VMs will change when the VMs reboot. You must use the ZTC console to change IP addresses. Do not use any operating system commands or other utilities. And finally, some notes. The procedure you use to configure IP settings depends on whether the ZTC Edge system stays on the same subnet or moves to a new subnet. Changing IP settings for a new subnet typically includes changing the node's physical network connections. For example, disconnecting and then reattaching network cables if moving the physical machines. Before you disconnect cables from nodes, you must shut down the nodes. Let's now change the system and/or node IP settings with the system on the same subnet. The ZTC Edge system and all virtual machines continue to run throughout this procedure. However, the ZTC console briefly loses its connection to the system if you change the system IP address. You can access the ZTC console at the new IP address within 1 to 2 minutes of changing the IP address. You can change node IP addresses on each node individually, but the console connection is not lost. To access the IP configuration screen, click Preferences in the left-hand navigation panel to open the Preferences page. Click IP Configuration. In the Static System IP box, type the static system IP address that you obtained from your network administrator. Click the Static button and type valid, unique values for primary DNS and secondary DNS. Or select DHCP if you'll be utilizing a dynamic host configuration protocol server to generate your IP addresses. Verify that the displayed net mask value is correct. For Node 0 and Node 1, enter appropriate values for IP address and gateway IP. Click Save to save the values. Save and Shutdown to save the values and shut the system down. This would be used if you are changing subnets and will physically be moving the systems. Redeploy if you want to redeploy the installation. Or Reset to reset the values back to their original settings. If you've changed the system IP address, the System IP has been updated message box appears. If you select Yes, after a brief delay, the browser redirects automatically to the new system IP address. This completes the Managing IP Addresses training module. Thank you for viewing this module.